I know. You don't have to remind me. I said I'm not going to buy anything anymore. I'm not going to do any unboxings anymore. And yet here we are 2 months later with a new camera. Hello and welcome to another video. In this video we are unboxing the XT4, Fuji's new camera. I will give you 3 reasons, my reasons to buy the XT4. If you're not into photography and if you're not getting into photography at all, this video is not for you. But if you're someday considering to get a camera, at the end of this video I will tell you how you could get an expensive camera and use it for free. Now let's have a look inside the box. There are 3 main reasons for me to get the Fuji XH1. Okay, on top there is the regular papers. There is this piece of carton. And underneath there is the camera body. That's the XT4. If you know the XT3, the XT4 looks almost the same. It's slightly bigger because of the in-body image stabilization. Those things now, they're made of rubber. They're a little bit more waterproof, like the weather sealing is a little bit better on this camera. Now my main reasons to get the Fuji XT4 to upgrade from the XT3. Okay, so there is only one small box and I already know what's in that box. I actually got the thing they had in the showroom yesterday for a few euros cheaper. And the only thing in that box is a cable, because Fuji, the camera, doesn't come with a charger, doesn't come with the single charger, and I don't really care. Of course, it's a way for Fuji to make more money. This camera is 300 euros more than the XT3 was when it came out, so this is like 1,800 euros. And they of course make money because you have to buy a charger for like 70 euros, which is quite some money for a charger, but that's already the dual charger. And I anyway want 3 batteries. I buy 2 more. The battery on this one, battery is already inside, they left it inside. Battery on this one is bigger. That's because it has more capacity. The other one had 1,200 milliampere. This one has like 2,200, so it's almost twice the size, twice the battery life, hopefully. There's just the strap, the cable, and the adapter to plug it into the wall, and you charge the camera with USB-C. And as I said, I'm not bothered by that because the single charger you usually get, I never used it. What you would have to do now, without buying the 70 euro charger, is just plug the camera into the computer or into the wall and charge it that way. But I would anyway get a dual charger. So I have 3 batteries. 1 is in the camera, 2 are in the dual charger, and that's how I roll now. Oh yes, that's one thing I forgot. That's for the headphones. There is no headphone jack on the camera. I do not care about the headphone jack. I never ever connected headphones to camera so far. But if you want to connect headphones to the XT4, you will have to use your USB slot with this adapter. All of that's all there is in the package. Now my main reasons, or the 3 only reasons for me to switch from the XT3 to the XT4. The XT3 was a really nice camera. I had the XH1 also because of the in-body image stabilization, which is nice when you're taking video, but I was always unhappy about the XH1's performance in low light, and even if the light was not that low, I had the feeling that my XT20 even performed better than the XH1. Now this has in-body image stabilization. That's reason number 1 to buy this camera for me. Reason number 2 is it has a way to switch between stills and movie. And that doesn't sound like such a big thing, but for me it's huge. When I switched from photography to videography, I almost stopped taking pictures at all, because every time I switch, I have to change the shutter speed. And yesterday I tried in the shop, you can adjust the menu. So when like the stills in the movie runs independently, it's possible that for stills you're using those dials up there, while for movie you are, before I had to go to the T mode, yeah, and that's how I could use this for movie. So what you can do is you can adjust the camera. So using this when you're in stills mode, and you're using this for the aperture, for the shutter speed when you're in movie mode. And that's amazing, because really with the switch, you're taking video, switch again, taking pictures. And for me, I come from one situation into the next situation. So I want to capture each of those different situations, and I would have to go back and forth between photo and video. And I hope that's over now. I mean, I still have to go back and forth, but it's like that, back, forth. That's reason number 2. And reason number 3 is this. And all of these 3 are very good reasons to get the XT4, but only in case you're taking video. If you're not a videographer, and if you're not planning to get into videography, there is really no reason to get the XT4. And that's it. If you're not a videographer, don't get this camera. The best thing you can do when you're not a videographer and you want a new camera now, or you have maybe the XT20 or something, get the XT3 and not the new one. The new one is still 1,200 euros. Get a used XT3. You can find it for maybe 800 euros now. And that gets me to my last point. To my last point, I want to tell you how you can get an expensive camera without actually paying for it. I know that sounds like it's impossible, but it's not. Let me explain. This 100 to 400 millimeter lens from Fuji is 2,000 euros if you buy it new. Now I bought it a year ago for 1,300 euros, and I'm gonna sell it now for 1,300 euros. I also bought the XH1 about a year ago for 700 euros. I sold it 2 weeks ago for 700 euros. So that's how you can use an expensive camera. If you have been thinking, I have friends who thought, okay, maybe I should get into photography, but I don't want to pay 2,000 euros, and then I find out that the camera is just in the corner and I never use it. If that's your worry, get a camera that's maybe like 3 years old, a camera body. Camera body that's 3 years old, something like that, like my XT20, that was my first Fuji camera. I think now it's like 4 years old or so. So maybe you could get that for around 400 euros, and it's not really losing any value. Maybe if you see it for 400 euros, tell the seller that you're willing to pay 300 or 350, and then you can be sure that in a year you can sell it for 300, no problem. And get whatever, like bodies lose value. It's a very bad idea if you don't really need it to get this XT4, because now it's 1,800 euros. In a year it will be like 1,200 euros. I lose 600 euros. On this one there is not much to lose, and it's almost as good. Like my photography didn't get better by changing from the XT20 to the XT3, and it won't get much better by changing to the XT4. And then get whatever expensive lens you want. The lens can be like 1 or 2 years old. Just be careful that it's a good price. Check before how much it's worth, and then get whatever lens you want. You can use without, yeah. I did that several times. Bought lenses for like 600, 700 and sold it a while later for the same price. Just buy used things, don't buy new stuff. With lenses, they don't really lose value just when it's used. You know, it's less value. Bodies, they lose value because they get old. And that's my tip. If you are thinking about getting into photography for a while and you don't want to spend the money, 3-year-old camera, 2-year-old lens. And that's it from me. I hope this was useful. Many people, they complained about the XT4, that it's not as good as advertised, but there are those three things that are upgraded. Autofocus is upgraded. The guy in the shop yesterday told me that there will be a firmware update for the XT3 that makes the XT3 to the XT4, of course only software wise, not in terms of the stills and movie function, not in case of the flip screen and the IBIS. So these are the three things. But when I bought the XT3 new, it was 1,500 euros. Now this XT4 is 1,800 euros. You pay 300 euros, you get a better camera. The sensor in here is the same sensor as on the XT3, which was fantastic. Colors were nice. The noise was not too bad, even in low light. I really hated the low light performance of the XH1. And yeah, if this has the same sensor as the XT3, I'm very happy. And that's it from me. I hope this was helpful in case you're considering getting the XT4. Don't get it if you are not into videography. Get a used XT3, get an used expensive lens, whatever lens you want, and get into photography, or get an XT4 if you need it, if you want it, and that's it. Thank you for watching. I see you next time. Bye bye. The main thing for me when switching between stills and videography on this camera is that the shutter speed is independent on stills and on movie, but actually the whole menu changes. If you change to movie, you only have those movie settings, so it's much more organized, the whole menu structure. You change back to stills and you have a completely different menu, and you see there is no movie setting now, not like on the XT3. Actually feels exactly the same. I felt very different when changing from the XT20 to the XT3, but this now feels exactly the same. Sound of the shutter is much softer than the shutter sound on the XT3 was.